Now let's look at the different authentication methods that you can use to identify and also authenticate users. First is local users. So as with any of the components within a vSphere ecosystem, you can always have a local database. For smaller deployments or deployments where you don't have a centralized authentication mechanism, local users or local database can store all the user information, names, passwords, usernames, attributes, and it can even store permissions as well. So you can completely run off of a local database if you wanted to. In most enterprise deployments, I'll see this is really not the case, since you usually have another source of record for all your users and permissions. You don't really want to duplicate that. There's really no reason to when you can support the external sources. But just to put it out there, it does have local user support. Now you can actually do a combination of both local users and something from another source like an LDAP or an Active Directory, so you're not limited to just one if you choose that. So you can use really any of the methods here. The next source we have is LDAP. So this is something like an open directory or open LDAP within kind of a Linux or Unix world. We can support users from that kind of centralized directory. And lastly, and honestly the most common, is Active Directory. So we see a lot of enterprise deployments, again, that hold their users and groups and attributes, all that authentication information in Active Directory. And the identity service here can connect to Active Directory, pull in those users and groups, pull in the permissions, and use that as the source of record for all user authentication. So the really nice part is you can do Active Directory lookups within a lot of the different dialog boxes and settings within VCAC. So it'll actually populate that user list. You can start searching, type JOH, and it'll populate all your John Smith users. And it'll pull that from Active Directory, doing live searches like that. So it's really helpful in that case.